So I pushed extra hard last night, well past midnight into the early hours of the morning. Come to find out when I went to upload, there have been some major new developments as far as Silicon Valley Bank goes. So this article is from this morning. U.S. Fed says Silicon Valley Bank depositors will have access to all funds. Janet Yellen has come out and said that they are going to make all of their depositors whole as of this morning, and no losses will be borne by the taxpayer. Now, I have no idea, guys, how that's going to shake out, but I want to make sure I get this info to you before we get into the video info. Everything else you're about to watch should be up to date, so enjoy.
SVB Financial, don't yawn. This company's a merchant bank with a deposit base that Wall Street had been mistakenly concerned about. SVB, it's the old Silicon Valley Bank. Recently bought one of our favorite research firms, Boston Agents, and it's become less dependent upon private equity and venture capitalist offerings. Wait a second. Those dried up last year. They could come back. Long-term private equity and venture capital, they're not going away. Being the banker to these immense pools of capital has always been a very good business. SVB's nearly 40% rally this year is barely a drop in the bucket.
You know, the other night when we were doing the live stream, one of you guys commented in the chat that just recently Jim Cramer had put a buy on SIVB. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, that's got to be a mistake. There's no way that a guy as seasoned as Jim Cramer could possibly have the wool pulled over his eyes 3 times on 3 of the biggest scandalous meltdowns in U.S. financial history. But sure as shit, as soon as we got off the live stream, right in my queue on YouTube, there was a few clips of Jim Cramer talking about SVB still being a buy. Seeing is believing, that's for sure. So tonight, we're not going to go too deep into a lot of the details on what led up to the collapse itself and how everything fell apart so quickly for this bank. But I do want to talk about the selling, and specifically the selling that went on between the CEO and some of the members of the C-suite. Just as recently as 2 weeks ago, Becker, the CEO, had sold off $3.1 million worth of his SVB shares. And I'm just going to take a stab in the dark here and say, I think he knew this was coming. And the next thing that should be coming for these people are a set of handcuffs and a jail cell, because the activities they are engaging in right now are criminal. And it's not victimless crimes we're talking about. People are losing lots of money. Some of it is not FDI insured. So we'll get into that. Also, speaking of jails and prisons, word on the street right now is that on April 9th, there is going to be a visit by the CEO of AMC Entertainment to the local Boston AMC. There's the airing of the new movie by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, Good Will Hunting. So guys, let me know down in the comments if you are local and you're going to be able to make it over to speak to Aron. I would love to try to get together with some of you guys either before or after the event itself. And if you aren't going to go, what would be a question you would like posed to Adam Aron? Put it down in the comments. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. But before we do any of that, man, get way too far ahead of ourselves.
Cue the speeder. This is the way.
Again. In fact, when customers showed up at SVB's branch in Manhattan today to get their deposits back, managers called the police. So what we have here is a 1929-style bank run, and that's not a good sign for anyone. The question is whether the people who run SVB saw it coming. The CEO, a man called Greg Becker, apparently sold more than $2 million in bank stock over the last 2 weeks. According to the site Unusual Whales, several other high-level employees of SVB, including Chief Marketing Officer Michelle Draper, Chief Operations Officer Phil Cox, General Counsel Michael Zuckert, all sold significant amounts of stock in SVB this year. Did those employees know their bank was in trouble? We don't know. And once again, where were the regulators who were supposed to prevent this? Once again, we don't know. And the business press supposed to be telling ordinary people what's happening with business? Apparently nobody noticed anything. In fact, as with the FTX crypto scam, you may recall, self-described financial experts in the media were busy promoting Silicon Valley Bank as a great investment that would last forever.
I honestly think you might get more beneficial financial information from a Meet Kevin Shiba Inu video than you will watching Jim Cramer on CNBC. Good evening, beautiful people. Guys, what's going on? It is Sunday, March 12th, 2023. We're talking about the collapse of the bank on Friday. We touched on it Friday night in the live stream a little bit. We didn't really talk too much about the insider selling, that clip we just watched from Tucker Carlson. Now, to get a basic understanding of really what went down with SVB and how they went belly up so fast, that's what happens when you go completely balls deep on 1.8% T-bills, specifically 10-year T-bills, and the Federal Reserve decides to go on a historic rate increase. Now, the article here from Newsweek is from Friday. Catherine Fung reported on this. According to SEC filings, SVB President and CEO Gregory Becker sold $3.5 million worth of common stock just 2 weeks before the bank's collapse. SVB and other executives have been dumping their stock since May of 2021. And in the article here, a little further down, it goes on to mention that that was about 10% of Becker's total shares. He had about 98,000. In a separate SEC filing, the bank's CFO, Daniel Beck, also sold just under 600,000 in stocks that same day, just this past February. And after seeing the boat rocking like that, federal regulators came in and took over the bank. Second largest bank failure in U.S. history, the biggest since WAMU back in 2008. And these criminals are taking off with people's money before they even know what hit them or can get in their car and get to the ATM. It's despicable, and it's continuing to happen over and over again. And why is it that Tucker is the only journalist out there that's actually asking about oversight? And where are the regulators? Where's the regulation, the checks and balances? People who are supposed to be watching over our financial systems to make sure that they are safe for investors. Everybody is out to lunch or completely absent. And so what do we get? We get an announcement today. Federal Reserve is going to hold an emergency meeting tomorrow. It's just all ugly and bad, and I am really keeping my fingers crossed that this is just an anomaly and not the start of some type of domino effect or a chain reaction within the banking system, something more on the lines of the mortgage failures of 2008. And God knows we cannot afford that right now. Our economy is tighter than ever, and the last thing we need is some type of runoff at the banks. So we'll see how things shake out tomorrow. And of course, I'll be with you guys tomorrow night so we can talk about all this more in depth. And on the heels of this news, we got a press release from the White House that the president is proposing a new $6.8 trillion budget for 2024 that should be loaded with new social programs and higher taxes. So no rest for the wicked. Guys, it's going to be an interesting week. We have CPI data coming out this Tuesday at 9:30 in the morning. We have the proxy vote on Wednesday for AMC, the reverse split and conversion. And the news that I've heard most recently says that a lot of people, especially retail investors, have not yet cast their vote. I would definitely strongly recommend you guys go do that, whatever the vote is going to be, whether it's yes or no. We know that all three either pass or fail. I would definitely say if you have a chance to go do that, your next 48 hours, go make sure you get your vote in. And make sure that at least you know that you did what was best for you, no matter what the outcome is. Man, I'm sorry, all this bank talk is so depressing. So I'm going to try to leave you guys with an optimistic thought before I let you go. Let's talk about AMC Perfectly Popped Popcorn real quick. That has hit all the shelves at the 500 different Walmart locations nationwide who are getting this first run here for the Oscars this weekend. I've seen lots of pictures of people with units missing from the end caps and with their kids taking pictures with it. All good stuff. I know Tony already had his on Friday night. My local one doesn't have it yet, but I'm going to go track some down tomorrow. And I would say if you are an AMC shareholder, you want to help out with your company's debt and help out with adding some growth to your waistline, go pick up some popcorn this weekend or this week coming up. And finally, as I said in the outset of this video, we got a tweet from Aron about 15 hours ago saying, "Mark your calendars, my next 4 hosted movie screenings. First of those will be Sunday, April 9th in Boston for Air." Now, in case you guys don't know, Air is the story of the courtship by Nike of Michael Jordan in order to create Jordan sneakers. It's a Matt Damon, Ben Affleck movie, and who knows, they might even be showing up to this event. I don't know. But definitely, I would like to know in the comments if you're local and planning on coming, if you're a subscriber, a retail investor, whatever the case may be. I'd like to meet a lot of you guys, and I would like to have a good showing from New England and the Boston area, repping retail investors, showing them that we're smart. Let's get some good questions together. And if you guys have some questions and you're not going to be able to make it out to the event, please put them down in the comments. I'm going to periodically be checking back for them. Unlike the mass of normal times, I'm going to try to do better with keeping up with the comments as much as possible. All right, guys, it is officially the start of the new week, Monday morning. It's about 1 a.m. Keep your fingers crossed this week that we don't have a mass runoff. I know it's kind of depressing to think about that, and I hope to God that doesn't happen. But if it does, either way, I'll be with you guys tomorrow night. We're going to go live at 9:30, talking about the events of the day. Let's call this one a wrap. As always, thank you so much for all the likes, the views, the comments, the new subscribers, my OGs. I appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.